I have previously reviewed a program by Voxengo before called Voxformer, mostly for dealing with your vocals and spoken word type of stuff. This time I've got GlissEQ, which is purely an equalizer. It is version 3.8. Up here you can give the instance a name. Here you can select auto, 1 times, 2 times, 4 times, 8 times. It's basically the quality that the plugin is going to be processing at, so the higher the better, depending upon your hardware performance. You then have a bypass button to bypass the plugin, so you can preview and listen to the plugin without the effects of the plugin taking place, so you can listen to the original audio. In the editor I'm using, you can do it down here anyway, but not all editors, when you open up a plugin, have that button built in, so they allow you to do it via the plugin itself. You then have presets, so you can select default, which is basically everything turned off. Then you have massive warmer, more air, ultimate presence, acoustic guitar, female vocals, male vocals, sibilance enhancer, wider highs, beef it up, or ISO 226 at 80 decibels approximate. You can then undo changes from here. Same with this is a drop down of any changes you made, so you can go back, basically a history box. Then A and B is to have 2 different settings, and you can switch between them to compare them. Reset, routing, which allows you to change from default stereo to 2.1 stereo or 5.1 surround sound or dual mono, mid-side stereo, mono 2 stereo or forced mono. You can also load or save a CSV file. Wide view mode basically hides some of your tools, so you can get a look at the actual EQ there bigger. You then have settings, which is like in Voxformer, you can change your theme. That is default. Then you have basically gold and a few others. The best 2 are the first 2, I think, and I tend to have it on gold. You have a few other basic settings here as well, including check for updates. Then on the EQ here at the top left, you have decibels, apply an overlay, DYN, you have normal, instant or relaxed, let's leave it on normal. Static, spectrum editor, it's getting a bit more advanced, let's just leave it for now. Then you have areas, you can turn bass on basic. Now what it does is it shows an overlay of where certain frequencies are on the graph. Such as here you have mostly guitar and bass. Guitar here, bass here, drums and bass down here. In this green area, so approximately around this area here, you have the area where you've got to have mostly your vocals. Then you have drums and presence up here. You can then go to settings to sort of show various things for drums. You're probably either going to have it off or use basic the most. You can then go here, which is EQ areas mode editor, and you can actually create your own overlay. You can invert, so if we have a point, let's just adjust this like that, we can invert it to make it the opposite of whatever it was before. And then a preset here just for the EQ area, not the whole interface. To the right you have your output and your volume gain level, gain meter here to adjust, and it will show the meter here. To the left is where you can fine tune your EQ, so let's go here. And it shows you here what it is. It shows you frequency, the BW, which is basically what a lot of programs call the Q, and the gain. And this I'll go into again in a minute, this last option. So we could go to say number 2 and say, alright, I want to go to 200 Hertz, Q of 2, and I want to raise it by 4 decibels. then now you can see it's up here exactly where we wanted it, though I'm moving it around a bit now manually. Now what is this? What this does, let me just put a bit of it on. Now let's preview a minute. Now did you see there was another red line slightly underneath the main actual line? What that was it's kind of a minimum. So if there is already, say, a bit of bass or whatever already in that area, it won't overdo it. So you can set that here. Let's preview again. See this red line here? Yeah, so it won't add too much. It'll go by that gauge of the bottom bar. Now here we have various groups, which are basically similar idea to this up here. Then you can copy to another group, etc. here. Now this drop down here is when you have a node selected up here, you can select the type. Basically at the moment it's what another program might call the bell. It's a peak in this. We can also do peak and invert. We can create it into a low shelf. We can switch it to a high shelf. Various other low shelves, high shelves, and notch. A couple other notches and peak ends. There's a band pass as well. And low pass, high pass. Let's put it back at peak in. Then you have the spectrum here to adjust. You can also edit it to get a spectrum mode editor up. Now what do you do when you want to actually save preset? Well, for a start, your interface in your audio editor may have its own preset menu here, in which case you can go to save in it and name it. I haven't actually found a preset option in the actual editor here to save the whole thing and all of its settings as a preset, but you can at least save some individual pieces as a preset. So if you want to save all your EQ settings here, let's just adjust them all over the place. Okay, say that is our EQ that we want to keep and use. Again, we can go up here to the preset and save it as an EQ preset. As I mentioned before, we can go here and adjust the decibels here and apply an overlay. Now what do I think of it? I think it's a good equalizer, and it is good for beginners because it's unlike some I've used which is a bit fiddly to use. This actually is very straightforward when you're starting out to figure out how to adjust your frequency, your Q, your gain, and drag and drop things around, move it around precisely how you want, and change the type easily as well. There are a few I've used built into other programs, such as the equalizer that is built into Nectar Elements, which is quite awkward and it's very hard to get the hang of. This is straightforward. You just go straight into it and get on with it. It's really good. There is a trial available for you to download. I suggest you go and download the trial. It's available for Windows and Mac. So thanks for watching. Please like and share this video, and if you could do me a huge favour and subscribe, as it'll only take you a few seconds and will help me out a lot. Thanks.